What's good, guys? It's Jack. I'm here with Dom. Say what's good, Dom.
What's good, guys?
So today we're going to be talking about an event that happened 10 years ago. This event, uh, this was a perfect game that should have happened, thrown by Armando Galarraga. This has been on our minds a lot, but we have never really found time to talk about it, and it's actually one of the more overlooked events in the past 10 years in sports that really no one has been talking about. So we just wanted to give our insight on what we think of it and how it has transpired today, with all the replays and all that nature.
Yeah, I'm excited to be with Jack on his channel, so let's get right into it. Yeah, so we pulled up another angle here.
Yeah, so in 2010, Jim Joyce, who was the first base umpire during this game, he blew Armando Galarraga's perfect game in the top of the ninth inning with 2 outs. It was just a horrific call. As you can see from this photo, his foot is clearly on the base, and the runner's is not. Therefore, the runner should have been called out, and therefore Armando Galarraga should have had a perfect game. It was so bad that Jim Joyce actually received a lot of death threats, stuff of that nature after the game, and he later realized that he admitted that he was wrong, so he sincerely apologized after the game. And 10 years later, Armando himself is petitioning the blown call to the MLB, asking it to be overturned. I think that was just a great play by him. But there's a couple things that made this play key. Okay, so if Miguel Cabrera did not field that ball, Jason Donald would have been out by a mile because the ball was headed right to the second baseman, who had a much easier play to throw it to first, and the game would be over there. And I think that it would have been a much, much more obvious call, and I bet you he would have even got called out too. But ultimately, Miguel Cabrera did field the ball, and there's a couple of things about that. Miguel Cabrera, because he was fielding a backhand, I mean, it was a great play by him just to even field that ball, because he was covering so much ground. And then for him to backhand that ball too, that is a really tough play. I mean, I used to be a first baseman myself, and that is a very tough play, let me tell you. But he made that play on a backhand. And the other important thing to consider in this whole situation is that because Miguel Cabrera was going away from first base, he was carrying his momentum away from the play, so therefore he had to stop his momentum and throw the ball after that. And I think because of that, it made it a lot closer, I think, than it should have been. And it should have been a lot more obvious in that situation because, obviously the ball would have gone to the second baseman, so he just would have thrown him out. But the fact that he had to stop his momentum, I think, made the play a lot closer than it should have been.
All right, Jack, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Well, this takes me back to a time. Do you remember Fail Mary?
Oh, yeah.
So I really think that, the overall concept is kind of similar. I think that, at the time, it was really controversial, yeah, but I think that reversing a call like this would be, so late after the fact would be like the NFL reversing that whole game, because as opposed to Armando Galarraga's perfect game, the Tigers were going to win the game either way. But with the Fail Mary, it was going to be one team's going to win or the other team's going to win. And I think that actually the umpires were like the top of the agenda umpires, as opposed to the Fail Mary game that was officiated by
Wade Elliott and co.
Yeah, exactly, Wade Elliott, and they were replacement referees who the NFL asked to be the strike breakers while the regular refs were on strike. And so I think that, you're not going to have, if you have top of the line umpires, I think you should be able to get the call right. But I know that those replacement refs, they got a lot of backlash on that. And this game was ultimately when the regular refs came back. And also, I think that the day after the perfect game, the perfect game that should have happened, I think that the Tigers owner gave Armando Galarraga a Corvette. And, I mean, I guess it turned out decent for him. I mean, it's not the same. He should have had a perfect game. It would have been greater to have his perfect game on his resume.
So let's pretend the MLB honors the request and overturns the call tomorrow. Could we see a precedent set for outrageous and controversial calls to be overturned around sports?
I think we could. I think it would need to be crystal clear. It would depend on the evidence shown and also the ability to manifest obvious decisions. In the Tigers case, one game wouldn't really change the season because, let's be completely honest. Like, the Tigers were going to win that game anyway, and it is baseball. It's one game out of 162. And the call was clearly wrong and easy to overturn after the fact. So you could give him the perfect game after the game, even, for example, even if they did mess up the call. But I think in the Hail Mary case, this game had major implications for the NFC playoff picture. The Seahawks would have missed the playoffs, and the Packers would have gone from first round wild card to the first round bye and home field advantage in the divisional round.
And I think this would only set trends for the MLB, but it could inspire players in other leagues to petition their leagues to do such, and in other sports maybe. Well, Jack, when it comes down to it, are these type of games and calls worth overturning later, even if it's a decade or so after the fact?
I think it depends on your view of it. I think while it won't change the outcome of any team's season from 2010, I think it's still worth it to credit the pitcher with the perfect game, as it will give Armando a feeling of closure. And I really think it's the right thing to do. There should be 24 perfect games instead of 23. And there also has not been a perfect game thrown since 2012. And I mean, this is something that we're talking about that's more rare than hitting for the cycle or even a pitcher hitting a home run. But anyways, y'all, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and go check out Dom's channel as well. He's got some really, really cool stuff on there. Definitely recommend checking his stuff out.
We've got a lot of cool videos on the way. We're going through a real transformation in our channels, starting out learning how to use iMovie and really starting to get an upload schedule together. Just stay tuned for more great stuff coming in the future.
Yeah, just like you said. But yeah, once again, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And we will see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace.